Okay, so I had a question. If you were going to use medium frames in a swarm trap, would you want to change the dimensions to fit these medium frames? And my answer, and I'm sure that the answer that most would say is absolutely not. You're wanting to build this box, and I went ahead and built another box, and obviously I've left off this sidewall right here to show you that you want the bees to feel like they have this whole area, this whole capacity, this whole cavity in order to bring their swarm into. If you change the dimensions and make it smaller, then they're just not going to feel like there's enough room in there. So you keep it the same, and what you do is basically what this will look like is once you put the deep frames in, and I'm only going to put 2 in just for the sake of time. The way I built it, it holds 6. So if you got 6 large frame there, you've still got plenty of room for them up under that. So it allows them to feel like that this cavity is very large, good enough, big enough for their swarm to come in. So do not change the dimensions if you're going to use medium frames. Large frames are pretty good, but now with this extra space down here, you can't leave this swarm trap out there with a swarm in it for a very long time, for weeks at a time, or they will start building on the bottom of those frames. And I got a good example of that. One of the swarm traps that I had at one time, I had messed up, and instead of putting large frames, now here's a medium, here is a medium frame in there, and so that gives it even more space under here for them to build on the bottom. They would start building on the bottom of that frame. This is a great example of a mistake of mine, so please learn from my mistakes. I want you to take a look at this. This is actually a medium frame that was left in a swarm trap too long. I just couldn't get to it or something like that, and they ended up building all kinds of odd and then built on the bottom of it. I'm sorry, I'm filming and doing everything. So if you only have medium frames, that's fine. You can use medium frames in this build, but you'll want to keep an eye. Once swarm season really kicks in, you'll want to keep an eye on your swarm traps. I'd say every 2 or 3 days go by and check them, and look for activity. And when you are fairly certain that you've got a full swarm in there, you'll need to get that swarm moved to a permanent hive, fairly quickly, within a matter of 2 or 3 days, if not sooner, if you're sure it's in there, because they will. It is amazing how quickly they can build comb, because they will start building on the bottoms of your frames if you're using mediums. And they would even do it with a large frame, but at least the large frame gives you a little more time to get it housed to a permanent hive. Plus, if you're beekeeping and you use large boxes for the brood chamber, then you usually use the large frames anyway. So you just go straight from this frame. You just take the swarm in the frame and then put it in your permanent hive. But I hope all that makes sense. Once again, just to sum it up, the question was, do I change the dimensions if I'm going to use medium frames in my swarm trap? And the answer is no. You want them to feel like they've got plenty of room to move in. You want a big cavity like that. I just suggest, if you're going to use medium frames, if that's all you got, make sure you check if there's a swarm in there a lot more often, so that way you can get it moved out quick enough, or else you're going to end up with some frames of comb like this, and that's not a great thing. But anyway, listen, I hope this helps. You got any more questions, please leave a question, and I'll get back to it as quick as I can. I appreciate the question. Thanks. Bye-bye.